Oh, oh, we don't like the bridge. We don't like it. That's a no-go. Ooh, that's nice. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay. If you're new here, hello, welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Mustang Magic 2024 challenge that just happened, and we're going to be going over the first 3 classes. Those classes include handling, conditioning, Mustang maneuvers, and the Mustang trail class. I love doing videos like this because not only does it help other people to see it from a critical or show perspective, but it really helps me to be able to look at these horses and pick out what might have placed one a little bit higher than another. So if you guys are ready, go ahead and get a drink, find a little snacky snack. Let's sit back, relax, and do what equestrians do best and judge each other. Couple things to note, Mustang Magic is a invitational only competition. The people that run the show send out invitations to trainers that I think have been in the top 10 of multiple Extreme Mustang makeovers, or at least one Mustang makeover. So they invite all these people out, and it's essentially the same challenge of 90 to 120 days. I believe this is 120. Train a wild Mustang and get them ready to go. This is just a highly concentrated amount of really good trainers. It's always really educational to watch these ones because you see the real professional people that do this for a living, that do this all the time. I'm only going to look at the top 3 for each class, so those that placed in the top 3, because otherwise we would be here for hours, and if you guys want that, we could do that. But for me, I don't have time for that when my child is sleeping during a nap, and I have like a half hour, so we need to get on this. There is one class, the handling conditioning, that I have one extra competitor in because I saw it as I was glancing through the live stream that I'm watching, and I just was so impressed with the way he set up. So we're gonna go into that one too. That's the only class that I have 4 competitors in. I was not at the show. I would love to go. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work out for us. This was recorded by Wild Heart Mustangs. So if you guys are curious, go check out their YouTube channel. They also have a Facebook page. That's where I'm watching these live videos. It's really great to be able to have someone there that was recording the whole thing. Cowboy Channel only does the freestyles, so that's kind of a bummer for me when I want to watch the entire thing. A lot of the handling conditioning class has to do with just showing that you trained your Mustang to do basic maneuvers in hand. This one is Chris Phillips, WFR Mocha Bay Latte. This one got first place, and right off the bat, what I'm noticing as a showmanship competitor is, the horse seems somewhat set up, and the handler is just kind of standing there. And while you may not be judged yet, you are giving a presence off in the arena. And I'm not downplaying that he got first place. Right there, he was a little bit tight on the leader up to get the horse to move forward. I would have liked to see the horse just start to move when he moved. It's not like the horse is dragging behind him the whole time. It's just that first little step. So he's walking into the round pen now to be able to unhalter the horse and exit the round pen and come back and catch. This is something that I think is pretty basic for most handling conditioning classes, just showing that it's easy for you to halter and unhalter your horse. Unhaltering was obviously fine, no issues there. I kind of like that the horse is just sniffing the ground, checking things out. Seems very chill. That's a big thing that I like to see, that I think a lot of people do, is a Mustang that is quiet. Are you gonna roll? You are. Oh, how cute. I love when the horses roll. And a lot of that, Sam Van Fleet mentions it in one of her videos, that it's always a good thing when your horse rolls in the round pen, because it just shows that they're more relaxed and chill than the horses that are going in and maybe just running around or hard to catch. So this is so cute. I like that he's standing there like, okay, that's enough rolling. That would be Sage. Sage just, she rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. It's a little bit hard to see. I kind of think the horse was looking slightly away, but it wasn't that bad. Looks like the haltering is going over pretty well. I would have liked to see the horse drop their head just a little bit more. They're in a pretty relaxed state, but it's always nice to see a horse that just drops his nose down into the halter. Walking out seems fine. I do like too that he didn't loop his lead rope, that the handler didn't loop his lead rope. You see that sometimes, sometimes even in showmanship rings they do that, but I prefer more of a figure 8. I would probably pick up the tail end a little bit more just to keep it a little neater in the left hand. A decent stop. I, again, would prefer less hand movement. This step here, they're just coming in and preferably ground tie and then show that you can brush your horse all over. You want to hit a lot of the main points. Like you can hit the face, back, neck, hips, under the belly, down the legs, any spot you want to be able to touch all over. I would prefer that the horse isn't dropping its head down, but this horse isn't moving. If they were moving forward, I could see that being more of a fault. Not bad at all. That was a better pickup than the first walk. I like that the horse just stayed very close next to him. That stop was a little rough, a little too far forward. Back up is slightly crooked, but nice big steps, very soft in the face. There was like a slight bit of hand pressure, but it wasn't bad at all. I think again, he's gonna ground tie, and this time they're gonna pick up all 4 feet, demonstrate the horse can do that. I like when handlers kind of pull the feet out and put them between their legs. Your job here is to show that the Mustang can do anything that a regular horse could do. Regular horse, domesticated horse, whatever. Some people will also like tap the hooves too, just to demonstrate that, you know, the horse is going to stand there if you were ever to need to put shoes on or something, that's not something that's going to spook them. It's just things to really showcase the Mustang. Oof, that was a little bit rough. I would prefer that to not happen. And that could just be a little bit of a miscommunication. It looked like he was kind of walking towards the head, so I don't know if the horse was thinking to just leave, but nice walk off. I like the length and the lead rope too. There's plenty of room. Now they're just going to show loading up into a trailer. Ideally what you want to see is a horse just continue to move forward. It looks like he's going to send the horse in, which is great. I would have preferred a little bit more fluidity with it. So the horse kind of got a little bit stuck where she didn't just go right in. It wasn't horrible by any means, and sending them in can typically get you a higher score than walking them in because it's a higher level of difficulty. Nice back out of the trailer. And I saw some comments on the original videos talking about why would they back them out of the trailer. I always prefer to turn my horses around. While I understand that theory, the issue with that is that not everyone has a slant load that they could turn the horse around. You have to showcase the Mustang's abilities. It's not just about, well, this is how I prefer to do it. That is a higher level of difficulty, so it's going to get you a higher score. This is Waffles and Jessica Flaherty. I think I'm saying her last name right. I'm really sorry if I'm not. I have been following this horse pretty much from the beginning, and I just adore her. I think that she's very smart, quiet horse, and Jessica is such a talented trainer. One thing I'm noting here is it was kind of a quick change. The last trainer got to come in and kind of stand there for a second. I would have preferred if she really set up in a showmanship stance. One of the comments on the post mentioned how quiet and calm this horse was, that she looked like a seasoned quarter horse, and I could totally see that. I would prefer a little bit more get up and go in the walk. She's kind of just like going, and I don't think that's because of the horse herself. I think that's the handler and that she's walking a little bit slower. I would like a little get up and go. Ooh, that's nice. Yes, do that. Do that. Oh, that was so nice. Okay, so 100% not in the pattern, not required, but it made it look so much cleaner to walk in the round pen, do a nice pivot, and a pivot, not just like turn around. She did a haunch turn that was pretty decent to turn her horse back into the fence before she released her. And I love that Waffles is just standing here like, hello, what are we doing? Where are we going? But doing those little things can make your pattern look so much cleaner, and that was perfect. I literally have chills. My arms got the heebie-jeebies. Okay, that was a little much for a head drop. That was a little much. That's okay though. I love that she dropped her head down. It just was like, it looked like Jessica was struggling a little bit. Overall, easy catch, you know, no issues there. It almost seems like a little bit, because there's that bar in the gate, it almost looked like she was encouraging her to drop her head down, which is something that you want to see in trail classes, specifically like quarter horse and paint trail classes. Again, she's going to drop the lead rope, brush the horse down. You can see Waffles is obviously very good at standing there. I think she really, oh, I jinxed it. I said that too soon. She took one little step. Sometimes this happens when you've got a barrel there with new smells. They just want to check it out. I do like that for the most part, she stood pretty quiet, but I could see why that would ding her from first to second place. A nice pickup in the trot. I like her headset in this. Ooh. Again, the stop is fine. I don't necessarily like fast, hard stops. That backup was slightly crooked. It looked like her butt was going out. I want a balanced, quiet stop, and that was a little too rough for me. Nice pickup with her feet. It looks like she's just trying to kind of rebalance, not necessarily step forward. That might have been a little step forward. But I think this is where it's kind of nice to see a horse like this that is overall very quiet, and this might be her in a little bit more amped up of a state, hence why she's a little bit fidgety, but she's not bad at all. A little bit too much on the face there, but not bad. I would have preferred a little bit quieter with the hand. And you can see she's kind of got her hand under her chin. I would prefer the regular showmanship stance with keeping your hands in front of you. She walked in with her, and the one thing I kind of noted there is she kind of swung a rope behind her. Ideally, I'd like to not see that. That's just kind of a personal preference. I'd like to see the horse just move in. She did walk in and turn around. The other thing that I would prefer is probably a little bit of hesitation in the trailer. Just let her kind of stand for a second before you just turn around and unload. It was still a nice unload. She was very quiet about it. She wasn't rushing out of the trailer. I still would prefer the backup just because of the higher degree of difficulty. This next one is Matt Zimmerman. A little bit rough start already. This is Lil Bitty is his horse. It kind of looked like maybe he was under the impression that he could go. So I like that he turned back around. He's got his toes more pointed towards the horse. Some people just face straight forward, and that's not a proper showmanship setup. I like the nice brisk walk. I would probably prefer that the horse has its head down a little bit more. She could just be a little bit amped. So he kind of did a pivot. I, again, would prefer a haunch turn. I think it looks a lot cleaner and it's a higher degree of difficulty, but a little bit of a pivot to get the horse to turn towards the gate. And I kind of like that he walked in farther than what Jessica did with Waffles. He walked totally to the center of the round pen, and I don't know the thought process behind that, if that's maybe just to demonstrate better of being able to catch if the horse is farther away. I don't know. Oh, that's what you don't necessarily want. So a little trot off real quick. Maybe the horse is just thinking round penning, keeping in mind that this is the first class. So it's the first one of the competition. All the horses are in a brand new environment. They're trying to check things out. It's understandable for stuff like that to happen. I would prefer the head to come down a little bit, but not bad of a catch once he got the horse's attention. Penny she wasn't intentionally trying to walk away from me when I did this with her, but what I would probably do instead is get the horse to kind of move forward and try to bring them into me a little bit more to make it a little bit cleaner. Horse is almost a little bit ahead of him, but a fairly decent stop. The lead is a little bit tight, and I wonder if that's partially because the horse was a little bit amped, if the trainer decided at that point that the better option was to just hold on to the lead. I wasn't going to hold on to the lead with Penny because I knew she could ground tie, but she did kind of the same thing where it was a new environment. She got antsy and she started wiggling. Not bad with all the brushing. That all seemed fine. A lower degree of difficulty, but because of the way that other things have gone and all the other competitors, handler could still place really well if they did have one obstacle that was a little bit iffy. Pretty decent backup. It looked pretty straight. I would have preferred a little lower head and bigger steps backwards. Horse is picking up feet good though. I really like that he's kind of touching her all over. He's reaching down, touching her feet, and then he's going along her back and touching her neck. It's just demonstrating a little bit extra that, hey, this Mustang can do this. They're used to this. They're trained at this point. Didn't love that. I think the hand was just a little bit too tight on that one, to be honest. Overall, the horse just has kind of higher head carriage. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit of the issue the whole time. Pretty decent back out of the trailer. I'm not too sure if he was just trying to not have her rush. Ideally, you want just slow, nice, even steps on the way out. The fact that the horse kind of stopped halfway is a little bit funky. This is the one that was not in the top 3, and I have this one to show you guys what more of a showmanship performance would look like. And this is where it can be really challenging in these Mustang competitions. If you have a lot of show experience, it can be really helpful. But that's where I was really confused with a lot of things, was I came from a showmanship perspective and me showing myself, showing the horse, not just how my horse is responding to everything. And personally, I feel like a lot of the way that this competition is judged is based off of the Mustang, not necessarily what the handler is doing. So this is Garrett Shanks with Smiley Miley's Dream. I love his walk. There's a little bit of lag with the horse. I'd like it to move forward a little bit more, but he's very much got the proper showmanship stance. Makes me wonder if he, ooh, I didn't see that before. A little iffy there. That could have potentially been, I think the gate person was kind of pushing on the gate a little bit. Maybe that was part of it. Again, those little things can be what sets you apart from the top 3. So unfortunately, that could have been what dinged him a couple of points to get him to 6th. I think it was 6th. Nice unhaltering though, once he got the horse in, no issues there. Horse is kind of checking things out. This one seems a little bit more on edge, but still not bonkers. Interesting that he chose to turn away from the horse. I'm curious what the thought was with that, because I don't think I saw that with everyone else. If maybe he was trying to watch a judge and acknowledge when a judge wanted him to go back in, I'm not sure. I like that the horse dropped its head down a little bit farther for him to halter. And it's, in my opinion, it's nice to kind of gather your stuff before you move forward again, instead of it being just a, okay, we're done, we got to move on to the next thing. You want things to be fluid, but not rushed. So, what he did right there is he leaned back a little bit to get the horse to stop. It wasn't a great stop on the horse's part, but a lot of the other handlers just kind of stop their body. You can give your horse a cue by leaning back slightly before you stop to get them to understand that, hey, we're going to be changing what we're doing, we're going to stop. He's holding onto the lead rope, which is fine, but again, you're increasing the level of difficulty if you ground tie. Nice little brush to the face. I think that's the only one so far that I've seen actually brush the horse's face. Tail end of his lead rope is a little bit long. I'd prefer that get shortened up, but that's not something that I think anyone really considers. Trot wasn't bad for a pickup, but I think there was a little too much tension on the lead. Decent stop. I like that he kind of set her up for a minute. Pretty good backup. Potentially slightly crooked to that direction. Not bad. He's definitely got a showmanship background. Like, he's trying to set her up every time she stops, which I love. See, there's someone slapping the foot, just again to demonstrate what the horse can do. Oh, I kind of like the placing the lead rope over his elbow. Huh. Just to kind of keep things out of your hands and you can keep doing what you need to do with both hands. I kind of like that. Again, more pats and everything. Part of that is just praising your horse while you're in there and trying to keep them calm and confident. Nice setup. Good job. That was, oh, I wish more people would do that. Nice walk off, very quiet. Let's see how the trailer goes. Oh, she's watching. She says, this is not my trailer. Pretty good step up though. For her to be a little bit guarded with it and then to just step up, that was great. Pretty decent back out. It looked pretty good to me. If I were to give that back out a score, it'd be like a 9 out of 10. I liked that a lot. And that's why I wanted to show you guys that one, because I don't think he could have gotten first place, but the performance that he put on at that point was much stronger in a performance aspect, in a showmanship aspect. He really knew how to present his horse in the best way. Unfortunately, when things happen, like the horse getting a little spooky through the gate, or a horse shifting their weight too much when you're trying to pick up the feet or brush or things like that, they can all be little things that ding you down a little bit lower. I also wonder if, I don't think this is the case. I do wonder if the judges at some of these competitions see handlers that are more relaxed and equate that with a horse that is more relaxed, instead of looking at an actual showmanship aspect, if that makes sense. And I'm not necessarily faulting anyone in that. I'm just curious about the thought process. I'd love to scribe at some of these events to really understand the thought process of showing Mustangs, because I come from that showing of quarter horses and Western pleasure. Like, that's the environment that I come from. So some of this doesn't always make sense to me.
The next class we're going to look over is the Mustang Maneuvers class. And keep in mind too, one thing I didn't mention, this show, you can show English or Western. The top 3 in every event were all Western riders, so that's why you're just not going to see any English riders. I think, if I know this correctly, there are signs along the walls of the arena. And so when you walk in, you're basically following the arena, and at the specific signs, they change gait or ask for a specific maneuver. It's all pretty basic. It's just to kind of, like the handling conditioning, you're showing what your horse can do through these gaits and how fluid and smooth you can have all these maneuvers. I don't know. What I would assume is this is not quite like a pattern class. You're not looking for a trot pickup at this sign. You're looking for a smooth trot pickup around that sign. That would be my guess. I'm not 100% sure, because there's another class called compulsory maneuvers that is an actual pattern written out for them, and that would make me think something more along the lines of your pattern work. This one, however, they're looking for transitions, they're looking for nice stops, they're looking for good pickups. The person that got first place in this class was Krista Smith with CC Kohana Cascades. Project Equestrian actually did a little bit of an interview with her, talked about how the horse got her name, and I just thought it was so cute. So if you guys haven't watched it, go over to her channel and watch it, because I thought it was just adorable. So a nice quiet entrance into the arena. I would assume that you're supposed to be walking into the arena. I don't, like, the horse seems sensitive in the mouth, not like painful, but she just seemed like she was really fiddling with the horse's mouth. A nice quiet trot. She seems very like lengthy in her trot, which is nice. I'm assuming the next, yeah, it does say extended trot. So a lot of people were posting the trot, and I think that that has to do with them trying to show more of an extension. In the Western show world, Western performance, you don't necessarily post when you trot. A fine pickup into the lope. It wasn't my favorite. I would prefer, if you've got 2 hands on a snaffle, I really want to see a nice bend into the lope. She seemed pretty stiff. Decent stop there. It seemed pretty balanced and quiet. I don't know if this is a rollback or a pivot. It looks like a haunch turn to me. It wasn't the best haunch turn, a lot of backwards movement, so I prefer a little bit more forward. I liked that the handler loosened her reins a little bit, let the horse kind of stretch in the walk, and she's getting her very nice and collected. Ooh, she kind of took a second to pick up the wrong lead, and then she switched to the left. But it was a very, very fast change. I like how quiet this horse is, and that she seemed a little bit more calm and collected. Decent transition down. It wasn't my favorite. I have to keep telling myself too that like these horses are only 4 months, 3 to 4 months out of the wild. I would prefer not quite a chin to chest movement with the back, but the horse was really soft with it. So overall, a pretty decent pattern. I would say that, you know, in comparison to a horse that has been trained for years and years, obviously the horse that's been trained longer is going to do better. This wasn't a bad pattern. There are certain little things that I would prefer to fix, but for a green horse, it's pretty damn good. Third place is Chris Phillips, so the person that got first place in handling conditioning. This is WFR Mocha Bay Latte. That is such a cute name now, if you think about it. It took me way too long to register that name. Kind of the same thing as before, that it seems like just a lot of nitpicking with the face, trying to get them to keep that low headset. Pretty good trot transition. I like the collection on this one. It seems like she's trying to reach up pretty well and it's not just drop your head down. This is again another one that's posting the trot, and while I don't love it, I could see why they do it. This one doesn't seem like she's got quite as much extension. It seems like she's got a little bit more of just a faster trot. That one I think had a slightly better pickup in the lope. I don't love how she's holding herself in the lope though. Good stop. Pivot was not. Not a pivot. Unless it was supposed to be a forehand. This is the problem with not seeing the signs and the patterns in person. Again, it seems like quite a bit of nitpicking, but the reins were pretty loose. So, you know, I'll kind of deal with it a little bit more. That was a better pickup in the lope than the last one, honestly. So I'm a little surprised that Chris is in third place compared to the one that got first. The trot transition down seemed a little bit rushed, so I would prefer to see the horse slow just a little bit more. Decent stop, seemed a little bit heavy on the forehand. Backup wasn't bad, pretty willing to give the head, but I still would like to see less pressure with the mouth and more going off the seat. That's hard because I'm not on the horse, so I don't know what they're asking for. It's just kind of hard sometimes to see the horses immediately go chin to chest. This next rider is Justice Jacobs with Camellia, I think is her name. Looks like he's riding in a Bozal, I think. Little bit of tail swishing. Walk was a little funky. Pretty decent trot from what I can see. The video is a little bit funky there, but okay, we're picking up the extended. This I feel like offered a little bit more different. The horse was a little slower in the jog, so asking for this extension looked like a little bit more, and you could see the horse's stride looks a little bit longer in this one than in Chris Phillips. Pretty good pickup in the lope. I would prefer that the horse kind of bend a little bit more. Oh, I kind of missed that stop. So it wasn't bad. I feel like that was a little bit rushed. If he had let the horse stop and settle for a minute before asking for the pivot, I feel like it could have been cleaner. The stop was funky. It was nice that the horse dropped its butt down, but it wasn't. It was crooked and, you know, from what I could see, that looked like a decent pickup into the lope, but I couldn't totally tell. I would prefer that the horse's head come down just a little bit, ask for a little bit more collection. Kind of a jumbly trot transition, but it wasn't bad. I feel like this horse slows down a little bit more, which is good. I like a little bit quieter of a jog. Again, would prefer a little bit more. The collection isn't bad. That stop was fine. It was a little abrupt. So the butt came down, which was great. The horse is using the hind end, but it didn't necessarily, it wasn't smooth into the stop. I think a lot of that part for me comes down to kind of the same thing we talked about with handling conditioning of you can prepare your horse. And I wasn't totally paying attention to him, so maybe he did. But when you're asking for a horse to halt from a trot, start to rotate your hips under and don't just immediately ask for whoa. Give them that sign of we're going to slow down so that it's a smoother transition, not so abrupt.
I just recorded the entirety of the last class without my mic on, so hopefully you guys can hear me now. First in this class was Jessica Flaherty with Waffles. Pretty nice walk in. I just love that this horse's overall demeanor is quiet and chill. A little bit iffy with the bridge, but I really like that she just drops her hands down and lets the horse investigate. She did a really nice walkover once she figured it out. The ideal situation is that the horse just goes over it. But for being a new object and being newly trained, that was a pretty good response. This is one thing that I was curious on, is this trot serpentine. I almost wonder if we could get away with doing a leg yield or kind of a 2-track through the trot. The issue with that is it does technically change the pattern, but the cones are set wide enough that it could increase the degree of difficulty. So I almost wonder if you could get away with it, but I think that that would be a question for the judges at that show. Overall, nice canter. She approaches this really well by using that far opening to get her horse really lined up for it. Little bit of a stumble there, which caused her to kind of come out on that last one. But that was probably one of the nicer pinwheels. Nice quiet stop, good backup. It looks like maybe just slightly crooked, but she fixes it pretty quick. Again, she does another nice little pivot into the next maneuver. Which is just really nice. It makes it look so much cleaner. Nice transition into the trot, very quiet. A little bit stiff in the walk transition, almost like a half halt, not quite just a trot to walk. Nice timing there. Yeah. Oh gosh, and I could see why then she would get like a little bit frustrated to be like, can we move please? Not like the best gait that I'd seen, but that wasn't bad, especially for a horse deciding that's the prime opportunity to poop. Here we're going into a side pass over the pole, so they're going to step the front 2 over. Ooh, what I do not love with this, and I think this is why her horse went crooked, she was entirely leaning over. It's not necessary. You don't have to do that. And that horse is now off balance because she's completely off balance. If she had just kind of sat up straight and looked with her peripheral, she could still see the pole without totally shifting her weight. The second that you start moving, it throws your horse off balance. This next one is a Craig Moore with Black Widow. I saw a little bit of this horse's freestyle and it was so cute. She's all dressed up as a Black Widow. I just love it. Nice quiet walk going in. A little bit of head popping up. Oh, we don't like the bridge. We don't like it. That's a no-go. This is the hardest part when it comes to competitions, is trying to not fidget, trying to not get in your horse's way when it comes to obstacles like this. It can be so frustrating when your horse won't just walk over it, especially if you've done bridges a million times. That just was a cute little hop off. It just kind of happens. Nice trot over there. Looks like the serpentine is pretty good. Those cones are so far apart. I'd really love to know if a 2-track would be fine. He kind of dropped in a little bit more than Jessica, and the horse broke to a trot a little bit before, kind of through. The pinwheel is just a really challenging obstacle. Little harsh with the hands there. It was just a little too heavy-handed, but it's again really hard coming out from a canter in a pinwheel going straight forward towards the fence. It's hard not to just jerk up. Not a bad transition. I'm not from Wisconsin. Nice, fairly nice transitions between the walk, trot, walk. I think with this, overall, it was a little bit rushed. So going into the gate, I feel like a better option would be to kind of stop and settle before you approach the gate. Just as a personal preference, that's what I probably would have done. We're going over to the side pass now. And you can see he's definitely sitting a lot straighter than Jessica was. So the horse itself was a lot straighter, took some nice big steps. Overall, not bad. I actually don't mind that pattern too much. I think there were a couple of things to work on, but not bad. Lastly, we have Justice Jacobs with Carmelia that got 3rd place. This horse swishes its tail a lot, which I'm really curious about because we saw this in the Mustang Maneuver class too, that the horse is just kind of swishing its tail, and I don't quite understand why so much. Another kind of not about the bridge. Bridges are terrifying. I probably would have got the horse lined up a little bit straighter just because it kind of sets up for the horse to not want to go straight over it. Again, it's really hard to not fidget with your horse. The more you fidget, the more they just kind of go back and forth. The trot over poles was fine, not my favorite. Good serpentine. Nice pickup into the lope. He definitely dropped in a little bit more. I think Jessica had the best approach with this one of trying to go up towards the rail and come at it more straight. Ooh, that was quite the stop. But again, it's so hard coming from a lope pinwheel into a stop in a box. Overall though, that was a pretty decent stop. Still kind of head popping up in the air, but what else are you gonna do? Trot transition was a little bit rushed, just a little bit. And a pretty good transition to a walk. It was like a little bit jumbly, but not bad. I think this might be the best gate so far. Out of the 3, I think this one was the best gate. Very quiet and fluid through it. It was a little fast, but it was fluid. Going over the side pass poles, nice big steps for what we can see. It seems like he went a little bit farther than the other competitors, and that's what I would prefer to see. I'd prefer to see a handler push their horse all the way off the poles and then all the way back on, just to really demonstrate the full big steps. If you're only doing a couple little half steps, it doesn't look nearly as impressive. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. Hopefully this whole section decided to record with sound. I think I'm gonna do one more video with reactions to both the top 3 in the compulsory and top 3 for freestyle. If you guys would like to see any specific competitors, let me know, even if it's from these classes. I don't mind going back and rewatching some of them. Once again, this is all just my opinion, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, maybe got a little something out of it. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, ding the little notification bell, comment down below, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!